Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to another episode of Spotlight On. Tonight, we are shining the spotlight on an actress, producer, comedian, singer. Seriously, this lady does it all. She is not only an accomplished actress and producer, but she has also produced several television pilots, independent films, and comedy sketches that have even been featured on Funny or Die. Ladies and gentlemen out there watching in the internet, please help me give a very warm welcome to our guest, Hallie Jordan.
Hey.
How's it going,
Hi.
Hallie? Thank you for joining us today.
Of course. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, so you just got back into town from filming in Georgia.
Yeah.
Tell us about the project that you're working on out there.
It was awesome. I did a movie last year with Jason Devan, and he was directing this movie, Tell Me Your Name. Mm-hmm. And they flew me out and they brought me into their project. I wasn't leading this one, but I was so excited and so grateful to be on set with them this week. And it's a horror in the vein of The Exorcist.
Oh, cool.
And it's got a pretty amazing cast. I was so excited to work with the people on that set. And
awesome.
Yeah, I loved it.
And if I didn't mention already, my name is Lauren Salaun, and you guys can find me on Twitter at Lauren Salaun. I'm getting so comfortable and so informal right now. And Hallie, where can everyone find you on Twitter? It's probably listed below, but
that's all right. You can find me at Hallie Loves It. It's an inside joke from camp when I was 17. But it's at Hallie Loves It, and that's both Twitter and Instagram.
Hey, I think that works even if it is an inside joke.
Right.
Totally makes sense. I mean, people
because I do
like,
love it.
Yeah, right? I love it. So I'm going to tweet about it.
There we go.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about, we'll start at the beginning, little young Hallie. You grew up kind of all over the place.
Right.
How do you think that shaped your craft as an actor, producer?
Well, I'm still all over the place. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, that's true.
I still do everything, but it gave me a lot of perspective on who I am. I've been every high school stereotype you can be, from homecoming queen to nerd to, everything. And I have friends everywhere.
Yeah.
No matter where I go, there's always someone there that's like, oh, hey, like, I was in Georgia and my friend found out from high school and she's like, hey, I'm in Georgia too. So it's nice to have friends all over the place that branched out. So there are even more places now.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how would you describe yourself growing up or as a kid or even in high school?
Outgoing, adventurous. I actually moved out when I was 16 so I could go to a performing arts high school. Oh my gosh. And it was awesome. I was really ready to take risks and started creating then. I was very into musical theater and I took it very seriously. I still do. I'm still going to New York this summer and, performing out there.
Great.
But yeah, I was so musical theater. I was so like, I will be on Broadway by the time I'm 20. And not yet, but I will be soon. So
close. What are some of your favorite musicals or Broadway shows?
Oh my God, there's so many. Wow. Let's see. I actually recently saw Honeymoon in Vegas, which a friend of mine who I look to as a mentor produced.
Oh, awesome.
And I don't discriminate. I really like many. It's like it's so hard for me to pick. I really like Company. I really like contemporary musical theater. A lot of musical theater snobs are anti that, but I'm contemporary musical theater. And I'm actually creating a musical in New York this summer.
Right.
And it's called 20-something.
Okay.
And it's about the different stages of being in your 20s, from 20, coming out of your teens, to growing up through. So I'm right in the center. So I've got collaborators on both ends of the 20s, but I'm excited about that.
That's great. And now with 20-something, what kind of role are you? You're creating it, but then are you also going to act in it? And
it's a collaborative project. So I'm not the only creator on it. Everyone who's involved is going to have a lot of say. And what we're doing is we're bringing in different composers that are in their 20s and featuring different songs about that different age. So I'm going to sing a couple songs in that. We're working out if we're going to have a different person for each song or if we're going to have a cast that grows through the songs. So that'll be developed this summer.
That sounds awesome. And I mean, it sounds like it'd be something that would definitely would catch on, especially as, you know, musical theater and stuff is becoming much more popular mainstream, too, with like shows like Glee and stuff like that.
Definitely. I'm so excited. Oh, my God. I've been wanting to do this forever. I usually go to New York, and I spend 2 weeks. I see my friends, and then I leave. But I get to stay and perform there whenever I want now. And Uniquely You, which is the company that's helping me create the project, is fantastic. I met them at my friend Alexa's show, and they just took me on. They're like, you're one of us.
That's great. So, oh, that sounds so exciting. And
awesome.
I mean, I can tell you're pretty excited about it. So that's great. Have you always wanted to be in the entertainment industry?
Yes,
in some capacity?
I have. My grandfather was actually a publicist for RKO. And I didn't find that out until after he passed away. So I guess it's in my blood. But my mom took me to see my first musical when I was like 5. And even before that, I remember being either going into kindergarten, and I saw the JCC put up Willy Wonka, and I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, I have to be a part of that. So JCC theater camp all the way through, and I just never stopped.
Yeah.
I just kept going. I can't see myself doing anything else. I love it so much.
Yeah, that's awesome. If you had to pick something else, though, what do you think that you'd do as an alternate career?
You know, I'm really interested in people and how they act in their sociological setting. So I'd really probably want to do research, psychological research on people, and ask questions like, if this person, oop, there goes my water everywhere.
It's all right. We'll have someone help us out with the towel or something.
If this person grew up in a different setting, how would they be different than they are in this setting? Like if they grew up in New York instead of California, would they be a different person?
Right.
Or not? So,
oh, yeah. I always found psychology and sociology fascinating. Hey, Marissa, hey, can someone grab us a towel? We don't want Hallie getting all wet. It happens all the time.
Does it really?
Yeah, strangely enough.
Like, oh.
Yeah. We just get dramatic and knock the water over all the time.
It goes off the desk.
So finding out that your grandfather was in the industry, did that like kind of give you like a research, like a more inspiration to just go after it? You're like,
did.
Well, no wonder.
Yeah, it definitely did, because then I started doing more research into it, and I came back to my mom, and I was like, oh my God, like, Grandpa Al was a publicist. That's crazy. And then she's like, well, my dad was a stand-up comedian on the Borscht Belt. And I was like, what? And then my grandma was an artist, like a painter. So I ran with it. I was like, it's my duty. I have to do this forever. I mean, I do it even if
but you know, that makes like a special kind of family connection and heritage in that sense to look back on. You know, like I was reading, he worked with people like Judy Garland and stuff. You know, so that is so cool to be able to kind of look back on that and know your family and was involved in it back in that time.
It's a lot of fun, because I'll go to old Hollywood and I'll talk to people and I'll bring it up, and I've got all these pictures and letters to Shirley Temple and pictures from Creature from the Black Lagoon and like all of these things.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So you've acted in a lot of different formats, from shorts to live theater, musical theater to features, and all of those are different, obviously, and present different challenges, and I'm sure are fun in their own ways. What do you like about each of those different formats?
I was thinking about this actually today. I love theater because I like performing theater. Here.
Oh, well, little multitasking.
Yeah, there we go.
We
so I love the theater. But I love film because when I think of a story, I think of it in the form of film. So performance-wise, it's definitely theater.
Yeah.
But when I want to tell a story and when I want to reach a greater audience, I prefer film for the format, because it just, you can shoot it out of order. You get multiple takes if you mess up. It's not more chill, but it is more chill. As an actor, you have more space to play with the character.
Got it. Okay.
Versus in theater, it's you do the whole story, and you don't get to do it again until the next show.
Right. Yeah,
So-
but there is something about getting that like immediate feedback, and that energy for sure.
On stage, I feel like I'll go up and I'll do it and I'll black out and I'll come to after the show and it'll just be so much fun. I'll just turn into the character and the stage could be burning around me and nothing matters.
Yeah.
Film, while I love it, I feel a lot more focused. I mean, I'm always focused no matter what I perform in, but film, I'm a lot more focused on making the correct character choices, making sure that I'm following everything what the director wants to take correctly. It's a lot more up close and in your face.
Yeah.
So it's just different. When I think of creating, though, I think of creating film, which is, I guess, why I produce film, because that's how I see it. But when I think of performing, I think of theater.
Okay. Nice. So on a similar note, talking about different formats, you also have a very broad range and you do a bunch of different genres of acting. And it seems like you've been kind of focusing on, or not focusing on, but had a lot of like more horror thriller type things lately. Is there any genre that you prefer?
I prefer art house and super indie, and I'm working on a couple of those this year, and I'm really excited about it. Horror's fun, though.
Yeah.
It's really fun. The set
Do you ever get, sorry to interrupt you, I'm just getting excited about, do you ever actually get scared?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
this weekend, oh my gosh. Okay, so Sydney, the girl who played the lead in Tell Me Your Name, which is the movie I just came off of, they like gave her like these contacts and she had blood dripping down her eyes and like it was actually scary. They used steam and smoke in the room, so it was all stuffy in there. And then I was sleeping down the hall from the room that they shot that like big possession scene in.
Oh dear.
And I made the director give me a nightlight and leave the door cracked open because I was like, the bad energy, I don't know. And they made fun of me for the rest of the time there, and I still made them keep the nightlight in the room.
You just tell them they're doing a really good job at their job of making a scary set and like building this scary movie that you're even scared and you see it from the
I was
other
like
side.
in the room while they were shooting it, and I still slept with the nightlight.
Yeah. Oh man.
It was really good.
I can imagine. Ugh. I love horror, but sometimes watching, you're thinking, I know there are tons of people on set right now, but they're still walking through some really creepy building or like through the dark woods. I wonder if they get a little freaked out sometimes. Like,
watching it is a totally different thing. But shooting it's fun. I did a movie a couple years ago called Orbs, and we shot it in Linda Vista Hospital, which is an abandoned hospital in Boyle Heights.
Yeah.
And there were still like hospital records on the floor, and a lot of people use it as a shoot location. But I remember doing one scene, and they're supposed to carry my body into another room. They didn't tell me what the other room was going to be. It's just they like carry me from a thing, and this monster is supposed to eat my soul, and then they drag me into another room. So it's pitch black. It's only lit by what they decide to light it by. There's really like no electricity in this part of the hospital. And I open my eyes after the scene and I look to my left and we're like actually in the morgue. Like actually like where they used to keep dead bodies. Oh my God. I like ran from the room and was like, I'm done.
Yeah, cut. I need a break. Boy. So is there a genre that you want to explore a little bit further that you haven't done yet?
A lot more. Okay, I love romantic comedy. I love everything that Judd Apatow does. And I love indie art house, like real, like soul, like movies.
Yeah.
So I get to explore that this summer, and I'm excited. I haven't done too much of it. I did do a pilot 2 years ago that was like a dark comedy. That was fun. I like dark comedy a lot. I'd like to do more of that and kind of start to come out of the horror genre a little bit.
All right, cool. Yeah. So would you say that you learn something new on every film or show that you work on?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What have been some of the biggest lessons, I guess, or things you've learned more recently?
Go with your gut.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in this town that can change you. And there's a lot of things in this town that can make you crazy and make you anxious. And it's been a really hard lesson for me to overcome that because I'm still learning to overcome it. Not everything everyone says is correct, but not everything everyone says is bull either.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just because somebody is in the position of a director doesn't mean that his first AD or someone else in the crew doesn't have something valid to say, and vice versa.
Right.
So it's take everything with a grain of salt recently and do what you feel you need to do. Follow your own path. Don't follow someone else's path because they've already paved that path.
Yeah.
Yeah, the director on Tell Me Your Name is a really good teacher of mine, and he stuck through me on a project that didn't go very well. Last year, I did a project called Mindless, and it just wasn't great. But it was also the set that I learned more on than any other project I've ever worked on. And although I wouldn't want to go back and do it again, I feel like it was imperative for me becoming who I am to do that.
Yeah. What was so challenging about that project, or
it was so
rocky?
It was low budget. It was a lot of the producers were putting a lot of pressure. There was a lot of misinformation with contracts, a lot of misinformation with power struggle and power pull on the producer end, and I got the brunt of it because I was the lead in the movie. So but I learned so much. I learned how not to produce a film.
Yep. Right. Sometimes you have to have the crappy situations to figure out how to do it better the next time.
Exactly. I came out of it a lot stronger actor and a lot stronger person.
Well, good. Great. And that's awesome that you still have that relationship with the director, and you know that's somebody that you view as a mentor. That's great. So, as I mentioned before, you wear a lot of different hats, you know, like you just said, producer, writer, actor, all of that. So does wearing all of those hats on a project, did that take a lot of getting used to? Or was there a big learning curve for that?
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. I'm often told that I have to choose, but you know, I got a pilot that I produced and starred into a studio recently to look at. And I was sitting in one of the head's office, and he said, you know, you have to pick producing or acting. And I looked at him and I said, if I had to pick, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. You know? Boom. So...
Yeah, plenty of people do a few things.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but it's difficult, especially if you're an actor, because most actors put their whole selves into acting.
Right.
And that's what I like doing. And I'm learning that it's not that I have to choose between producing and acting. It's that on this project, I'm going to produce, and on this project, I'm going to act. Because when you do both at the same time, you miss a lot.
Right. Okay.
You know, of course it gets done, just probably not as well as it could be if I was giving my whole self to one side of it.
Okay. Got it. Do you think that knowing the production side or your extensive experience in producing, does that help you as an actor to be a stronger actor?
Definitely does. Because now I know how producers view things, what they want on set, what they're looking for their projects. For acting, sometimes I want to be like, but, and then I can't because I'm the actor and you have to like leave the producer's job to the producer. But I think it's extremely important to know everything about the business that you're working in. You know, you can't show up to work as a publicist and not know how to use a computer. You know, like, no. So I definitely think it's important to know every aspect, because then you can communicate with the higher ups and you can communicate with the people on set and tell them what you need and how you need it, and talk to them on a person level instead of just an actor that's like, I want this.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Some diva actor. But
yeah.
That's really cool. And it, I'm sure, makes you, you know, more of a, obviously like more of a complete package, but I'm sure that seeing that with all that producer cred under your belt and your own production company too, you know, people definitely probably see that as an asset.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah. So with all that going on, I can imagine that like no 2 days for you really look the same.
No.
So do you have any like routines or habits or anything that you do on a relatively consistent basis to kind of help you like stay grounded or like, you know, keep you centered?
Changes by the day.
Yeah.
Right now I'm reading a book called The Artist's Way, and it's like a 12-week release your artistic self. But part of it is doing morning diaries. So you write 3 pages of stream of consciousness every morning when you wake up. And I'm finding that it does keep me a lot more grounded, a lot more present. I also do a lot of yoga. and working out a lot.
Yeah.
But the morning pages help.
Yeah. Well, I bet. I mean, waking up in the day, and if you've got 1,000 things running around in your head, get them all down there, and then they're not still up in your head all day long.
There are things that I'll write down, and I'll be like, oh my God, I didn't even know that about myself. Crazy. Whoa. And it just helps me work things out day by day and keeps things in order. So that's a habit that I've taken on. I've also adopted keeping healthy, keeping my body healthy, because you can't do anything when you're sick. So if I keep myself healthy and happy, I can create my work, and everyone else will be happy too.
Yeah. So the health thing, is that kind of a newer focus? Like, are you a big junk food person? Or
it's always been a focus. I'm taking it more seriously now.
Yeah.
I was like vegan for a year, and now I'm doing the what diet is right for your blood type diet. So,
interesting.
But
what does that entail?
It goes back, like I'm O negative.
Okay.
So you go back and you see like, oh, wow, this blood type reacts well to this food. And B reacts differently to a different food. And it just kind of like, it goes back to your ancestors and what they used to eat and how they used to function.
Okay.
So now I'm trying to be more paleo. I don't like eating meat, but I eat a lot of fish. Okay. And, working on it and going to the gym more and doing things I like to do instead of like, oh, I have to run this morning. I'll like go take a dance class.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you were telling me before we came in here about that app that you're using, or the membership program.
Oh my gosh, there's an app called ClassPass that's so cool. They're not paying me to like say this or anything. I'm just obsessed with it. You can sign up for like any class and anytime, and you can go to each studio 3 times. So there's so many that it just like keeps you going.
Yeah. So what have been some of your favorite ones that you've tried lately?
Pure Barre. There's hot Pilates. There's regular Pilates. There's yoga. Oh my God, there's everything. There's regular yoga. There's sculpt yoga. You can do like an hour just at the gym. Like you can go to Gold's Gym for an hour in it. But I've been doing more of the dancey Pilates, Pure Barre, bar method, pop physique kind of stuff.
Cool. So let's talk about To the Bridge. It's one of your recent projects. So it's a dramatic pilot with a good amount of comedy to it. So you play a character named Casey who finds out that her boyfriend is cheating on her and then goes and researches the other woman who turns out to be the fiance of this guy. And they kind of hatch a revenge plot and become friends, kind of.
Yeah, that's exactly it. My character is fix my hair. Okay. On the top.
Oh.
Good? My publicist is over there.
We're gonna
Okay.
Perfect.
Good.
It's those headphones sometimes get things out of whack. Hey, you know what? It's Wednesday, right? Someday. It's hump day. We're halfway through the
New
week.
York.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Everything's crazy right now.
Yeah.
Including my hands and my hair.
Yeah, I need to scoot this over so I don't knock it over. So To the Bridge.
To the Bridge. I did it right out of college. I actually had started a project where I interviewed everyone and anyone who would talk to me in the entertainment industry so I could learn about what they were doing. And some of the people that I interviewed happened to have this little production company called Artigo Indie.
Okay.
So I collaborated with them. We created this project. I was Casey, and Danielle Artigo was my co-star. And we just went and we shot it. They had access to the Los Angeles Film School film department.
Okay.
All of the equipment. We shot in Las Vegas, Lake Tahoe, San Francisco, and then a little bit in LA. To the Bridge is the Golden Gate Bridge, so it takes place in San Francisco. And it took us 5 months to get the script together, get it cast, get it going, and we did it.
Yeah.
And then I shopped it, and we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like so much fun. I mean, a good amount of heart, but also comedy and, probably some kind of sentimental moments, like soul-searching and stuff. So
well, you can check out the sizzle trailer for it on my website. It's there.
I have.
Okay. Well,
And everyone out there, though, what's your website? Tell them.
www.halliejordan.com.
Yeah, go watch all Hallie's trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Check it out. So I want to know if any of these stories or anything from To the Bridge came from like real like breakup stories or revenge stories.
Yes and no. I mean, I've seen similar things happen to other people. I remember when I was a freshman in college, I was working at a diner, and it was Valentine's Day, and someone came in with their girlfriend to have dinner.
Yeah.
And halfway through the dinner, the boyfriend walked in, and he saw them. I think he was like there with his guy friends or like something. I don't know what happened. And it was like this huge fight in the middle of the restaurant. And oh my God.
Oh, man.
So things that I imagine to happen when things like, no, I have never gone after a boyfriend and like blackmailed him in any way, but it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I remember being in New York a couple years ago, and I was dating this guy, and I was really excited about it. You know, he took me down to like East Side Highway, and we like kissed overlooking the water. It was beautiful. And then the next day we met up. This was someone, again, I knew from camp, and we were supposed to meet at like 13th and somewhere downtown. And I went there, and we were texting. He's like, I'm almost there, I'm almost there. He never showed up. Couldn't figure out why he didn't show up. I went back uptown to my friend's apartment. I looked on Facebook, and he was newly in a relationship with someone else.
That jerk.
So he still invites me to like things, and I always ignore it. I'm just like, click no.
Yeah.
But
Jerk.
I know. So nothing quite as dire as being told that I'm going to be whisked away to my like dream life and then find out that he's engaged. But you know,
oh my gosh, leading a double life. Yeah. So in To the Bridge, the characters create this website called infidelityrant.com, right? So wherein it becomes like this whole like online community like platform for other people to also share their stories of infidelity, like being cheated on and how you should get revenge. And I like one of the, you know, in the trailer, some woman's like, replace all his vitamins with estrogen pills and then kick him out when he gets man boobs, you know, and then
that
like
was fun.
Replacing all the pictures in some business presentation with like
dicks.
Dicks. Can you say that? Yeah, we can say it. So did you do any, so I imagine you're doing some research for this role and stuff. Did you come across any like crazy stories like that online or blogs like that?
Real crazy stories like that. I asked a lot of friends more so than that about their experiences. My friend Josh, who's in it, came up with his story. And some of those stories were come up with. One of them was from Matilda, where she like replaces her dad's shampoo with like the so they came from little ideas like that. And of course I love reading the like my boyfriend did this revenge blogs and like magazines, but they were mostly imagined by me and my friends.
Oh, that's
like,
awesome. That would be so fun to think up
like,
all the
what
scenarios.
What would you do if he did this? Oh my God, well, we could do this. So,
Oh, that's great. So now what do you think about having a blog of that type where, you know, something crappy happens to you and you kind of anonymously take it to the internet and have this blog to kind of air out your rants? What do you think about that just in general?
I personally have mixed feelings because there are two sides to every story. You know, just because this is super controversial, I was talking to my friend Robert, who plays the boyfriend, and we were talking about it more recently. Just because someone cheats doesn't make them a bad person. You know, you don't know what's actually happening in the relationship. You don't know if someone else cheated first and didn't admit it, or someone is doing something abusive which causes someone to cheat. You know, there are two sides.
Tons of terrible things you can do in a relationship that aren't cheating, you know, so it's not.
So, yeah, I mean, cheating is absolutely wrong, but at the same time, you have to consider both sides. So I don't think naming somebody online on a blog is the best way to go about it. And
I mean,
in the episode, it's not in the sizzle, but later in the episode, some of the people come back to the blog and they're like, well, now I feel bad. Like, this is my fault.
Right. It helps for that, kind of release and to find some camaraderie, I guess, but maybe not the best method of airing out your business.
Yeah.
So with To the Bridge, are we going to be able to see that somewhere?
My fingers are crossed.
Hopefully?
I produced it when I was 22, 23, and my first project that I took on, I started my production company because of this project. So my fingers are crossed. Right now I'm just excited that someone at a studio is looking at it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it doesn't get picked up, someone at a studio knows who I am and is looking at my pilot, which is huge. So I am creating other things. I am creating more shows, doing more movies, and we'll see what happens. It's just one step in the process.
Yeah, totally. So you just mentioned your production company. So it's Small Red Star Productions.
Yes.
And you started about, 2-3 years ago at this point?
2.5, 3 years. Yeah.
And I mean, having your own company, that's a big deal. So that's awesome. And congratulations on
you.
2 years of doing it. So can you tell us a little bit about the name of it, what that means?
Yeah. So Small Red Star is actually my mom's maiden name, my brother's last name. And I go by Jordan, but my actual last name is Stern. And Stern, when translated from German, is star. So Small Red Star is my mom.
Cool.
Translated.
That's really special.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What did your mom think when you
She
named
loved it.
that? Yeah.
She always wanted to start a company called Small Red Star.
Oh.
It's kind of her symbol. So
Yeah.
this was
A
for
way
her.
of doing that for
Yeah.
her, yeah. So has having your own production company, has that opened a lot of doors for you?
It has. Yes. I'm trying to.
In
terms of collaborating. When I want to collaborate on something, I know that I'm a producer and I can make this happen. It doesn't help me though when I'm an actress.
Right. Okay.
So I do need to keep the two separate. So if I'm at an event or if I'm talking to somebody about producing, I'm there as a producer. If I'm doing something as an actress, I'm there as an actress. Again, with the learning to kind of separate the
Yeah,
two.
that's interesting. I wouldn't think
Yeah.
that there would be such a divide with that,
Yeah. I mean, I can say I'm a producer and an actress, and I get mixed feedback on that. So when I'm a producer, I'm in the power seat and I am a producer. And when I'm an actress, I'm an actress and I can create and do my art. Or when I go to networking events, sometimes I'll just tell them I'm a mortician to the stars so they don't ask me anything. It's like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a mortician. Really? It's a family business. And then I'll name drop dead celebrities. I'll be like,
Oh my gosh, really?
I had one guy going like the whole night. I just kept elaborating on this story about being a mortician.
Wow.
He believed me and I couldn't not stop. I was like, oh yeah.
That's too funny. That's a good one. Good tip if you want to kind of
If you just don't
stop those questions, don't want to talk about work when you're meeting people. Great.
I'm a mortician.
Yeah, good.
It'll either scare them or they'll be intrigued. And
Or
then
they're like, me too, and they start asking you
you're
all these
like,
technical
oh, yeah,
questions.
I use Mac.
So, where do you want to see Small Red Star go, like in the next 2 years? So you've already got 2.5 years under your belt. What do you want to do in the next 2 years with it?
I just want to keep creating better projects. I want to learn from each project and keep doing more. I don't see myself becoming a studio. I don't see myself becoming Radar or one of those bigger production companies. But I do see it as a place for other actors to come and create work.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to create Small Red Star Productions to be, a place for actors to create so that they're not just waiting for a phone call from their agent, because I was, and that's why I started my production company.
Yeah, get the ball rolling yourself.
Yeah, to start creating work. And we're union, and it's a place for people to collaborate, and I want to bring in more collaborations, more art, more projects to produce. It doesn't even necessarily have to be movies or TV. Like I said, I'm doing a musical in New York this summer. But I want it to be a safe space for collaboration.
Awesome. So what would you say have been some big kind of key turning points in your career?
I'm in one.
Yeah?
I'm in one right now.
Awesome.
Key turning point was starting the company.
Right.
Deciding to come to LA instead of New York to begin with. this summer is a turning point because I'm really exploring who I am as an actor and a performer in both mediums of film and theater, because now I'm doing both.
Yeah.
I change my type and myself every 5 months. Like 1 week I'll have like short hair, and the next week I'll have like long hair. I mean, I'm changing all the time, and it's about really figuring out what is me and sticking with it and rolling with it. And I definitely have my hand in a lot of different pots right now because I'm exploring so many different mediums because I love so much of it. I mean, when someone does tell me I have to pick New York or LA, acting, producing, I literally can't. And I feel like I shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
So that's the turning point right now, is sticking to my own beliefs and my own gut and saying, no, I'm going to do this and I'm going to create something amazing.
Yeah. Cool. So let's talk about your new web series that you're working on, Miss Glenside, which is essentially a parody of beauty pageants.
Yes. Okay. My favorite movie is Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Okay, cool.
It's my favorite. I love it. And I did pageants when I was like 13. I was like Miss Teen, Boca Raton, Florida, 2003. And
man, I wish you had a photo of that to share with us right now.
It was awful. I wore like a jean skirt and like my frill. It was like, but like everyone who applied got into the pageant, and it was just like so silly. And then a friend of mine recently did a beauty pageant that was exactly the same, and she worked so hard to be a part of it. And then when she got there, it was just like everyone who had signed up.
Yeah.
So I got together with a couple of friends last year to start developing the story of it. And it's evolved so many times, always along the same line, but it's just evolved into now a script that's amazing.
Yeah.
I have a good friend who wrote it, who's incredibly talented. He's on the Breaking Bad comedy tour right now.
Oh, cool.
And I gave him my book, my notes, everything that I wanted each character to be and have, and collaborated on it. And so some people have come and gone since the birth of the project, or since the thinking of it and starting to create it, and it's just been really interesting to see it evolve. So that'll be ready to shoot and release by the end of the summer. It's going to be really quick. It's only about 2 minutes per episode, and each episode is going to make up one full TV episode.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of like a pilot, only it's made for web.
Yeah.
And I have some really great people in it that I'm so excited to have, some people that were on To the Bridge as well, and just friends who like the idea. And it's silly. It's a parody on beauty pageants. I mean, it's not to put anyone down or to devalue anyone who is in that world. It's really to kind of relate to them.
Poking fun at it from your own experience, too. So have you been going to beauty pageants lately then for research?
I have. Oh my God. The one that my friend was in, I went for the research, and one girl had like this crazy bow on the top of her head. It was like bigger than her head. And one of the judges was on her cell phone the entire time. They had one girl like make up and write this song that played on repeat during the entire like walking of the show. They had like all these big lights and all this craziness, but it was like everyone who applied was in it. I didn't understand what was going on, and then they wanted to turn. I don't think they knew what was going on because it was like this big extravaganza, and then it like wasn't anything.
Yeah.
And the tickets were so expensive for like a girl to sing a song on repeat for 3 hours, and a bunch of girls to walk down a stage. So it was interesting. My friend killed it and definitely placed because she's awesome. And she learned a lot, and she did do a lot of community service and a lot of building herself to get to a part where she did place. And there are a lot of people who do take it very seriously and put a lot into it. But some girls do it just to be pretty and in a pageant and are influenced by shows like Toddlers and Tiaras. And it's a crazy world.
Do you think, would you possibly do a pageant now just to like go undercover in a sense?
I
to
would.
like,
I definitely would.
For the role?
Yeah. They're expensive.
Yeah.
These girls have to pay to be in these, a lot of them have to pay to be in the pageants unless they're already like a winner.
Okay.
But to start, like you have to pay to be in it, and sometimes they're expensive. I mean, I think Miss America, don't quote me, I could be wrong, is upward of like $3,000 to like do it. I mean, they're expensive. And then you have to do the upkeep and the dress and the makeup and the training and the coach, and they just have like all this stuff that goes into it. So when you do it right, it's awesome, but when you do it like halfway, it's like silly.
Yeah. So you are really invested and interested in being a role model and mentorship in general. So are there any specific organizations that you really like or that you value and contribute to? Or
Yeah, there's one organization called the Young Storytellers, and they go into schools and help at-risk kids develop screenplays and then bring in actors to perform it, which I think is really awesome.
Yeah.
So I've been involved with them. I personally like to reach out to other actors, other collaborators, other people who are struggling or don't think, or like, oh, I'm not making it, oh, this isn't happening, and kind of being a voice of encouragement, like, yes, just keep pushing, just keep doing it, it'll happen, you know. But especially kids who are struggling, I think the best time to help them is when they're kids and struggling, and say, no, it's okay, look, you can create and it's awesome, and you'll see the outcome of your work. So I really like the Young Storytellers.
Yeah, that's neat. Would you ever want to start your own foundation or charity?
You know, I haven't really thought about it.
Not to add another thing to your plate.
If I did, it would be, I mean, I also performed with the Young Americans, which was going in and doing shows with juvenile delinquents and kids in juvenile centers. So if I did, it would have to be creating art with underprivileged people, or people that don't see the value in art, or people that don't have access to art, and helping them express themselves through it, because I think it's important.
Yeah, I completely agree. So you've traveled around a lot. When you were growing up, you know, you and your mom kind of lived a bunch of different places, and, you know, you've studied in numerous different areas, and obviously as an actor, you're traveling all over the place on set, and like you said, you know, Georgia, New York this summer. So what's the next place that you really want to travel to?
I'm doing a movie in London in the fall. I'm not allowed to say much about it yet, but London.
Yeah.
I was in London in January for an intensive at the Royal Academy, and that was awesome. So I'd like to go back. I'd really like to see Scotland and Ireland. I'd like to go to Amsterdam, because those are all places I haven't been yet. And I'd like to go back to Paris.
Yeah. Oh,
So we'll see.
I love Europe. That'll be so cool. You said that's next fall?
That's this year. I'm waiting for dates.
Okay.
I think it's going to be in the fall or the winter.
Yeah. Well,
we'll
stay
see when
tuned.
they're giving me the dates.
So, about like a year or two ago, you made a few YouTube videos called Hallie in LA.
Yes.
To help people navigate LA if they're, you know, just moving here to pursue their dreams and stuff. So, I loved those. I thought they were so funny, first of all. I wish you had done more.
I'm
But
thinking of starting it up again.
yeah,
Actually.
do it. Those are good. I mean, you're telling good nuggets of practical information in entertaining ways. So what would be some basic tips that you'd give somebody who just moved here and is looking to become a star?
It's not about becoming a star. It's about the process. And that's something that I had a hard time with when I first moved here, because I was like, here I am, LA, cast me. And then like, no. I mean, now, because I'm working hard at it, I am being cast. But if you're moving to LA to pursue acting, you have to really love acting. And if you can see yourself doing anything else that makes you happy, do it. Because it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to hear... It was my manager was telling me Mark Ruffalo went on 650 auditions before he booked his first co-star.
Oh, wow.
You know, it's a lot of no. Yeah, it's a lot of no. It's a lot of, you're too this, you're too that, you're not this, you're not that, you know, up and down and up and down. And you have to really love it. And when you do really love it, you have to stay true to who you are and not listen to what LA tells you need to be. You know, obviously, there's the basics. You need good headshots, and not just like, oh, I went and shot with this good photographer. It's you need something that is you, like no one else could take this photo. And it makes you stand out in the breakdown services in a thumbnail amongst the like thousands of people that are in there, and your type. it's really just fine-tuning your craft. You've made it, you've moved to LA, you probably have a background in acting, you probably went to theater school or performing arts school, or you want to be a model and you've trained for it. Know the business, know what you're getting yourself into, and know that it's going to take you a little while. Nobody steps off the bus and makes it overnight. It takes 20 years to make a star overnight. Jennifer Lawrence had been acting since she was 12.
Yeah.
And then she hit when she was 22. But she was pushing since she was 12. She wasn't just like in a school play. She was like out there. Amy Adams, 32.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it seems like with so many successful, whether it's musicians, actors, you name it, like a huge part of the success comes down to how perseverant you are, and how much you can keep pushing and keep chasing after those dreams despite getting people telling you no.
Yeah, it's a game of endurance. You have to play the game, and the game is who can stand staying in LA the longest and getting rejected so many times and still loves the craft so much that they stick with it and they do it. And I've been very fortunate, but I've also had my struggles, and all of my friends have too.
Yeah.
And then I've also had friends who hit really big really quickly and then didn't have anything to fall back on. So you have to build. Don't think that you're better than a student film or better than someone. I mean, I'm union. The only difference between me and someone who's not in union is I pay dues. I'm in debt now too,
Yeah.
Like there's, I have non-union friends who I think are just better actors than I am. It's not a competition. It's a game of endurance.
Right.
And you'll get there if you stick it out.
So in addition to that, what's something that you would tell your younger self, some advice or some guidance?
Don't take yourself so seriously, because at the end of the day, you do this because you love it and it's fun. I used to go home and cry because I couldn't belt a certain note or didn't look a certain way, and I was so hard on myself, and I still am, but really back then, oh my God, I would look at a cover of a magazine and just cry. I was so emotional. Oh my God, I was 13, 14. Oh, it was crazy. But I'd tell myself it gets better. Just keep doing it. You have time. Love what you're doing instead of being so oriented in the outcome.
Yeah, and instead of looking at things maybe so black and white,
Yeah, it was very black and white. It was, I need to go to performing arts school. If I don't go to performing arts school, I won't go to college. If I don't go to college, and I didn't even end up majoring in musical theater in college. It was this whole thing about being a musical theater major in college, and then I got into musical theater school and was like, I'm going to create my degree. It changes. Yeah. So I'd tell myself to calm down.
Yeah, relax.
You're going to do it.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So in these Hallie in LA videos, in one of them you talk about your crazy neighbor who was reporting you and calling the management about your
so crazy.
Cute little dog Sausage. Right?
Yeah.
That is, side note, love that you named your wiener dog Sausage.
Thank you.
About her barking. It's a her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. About her barking all the time,
Which
even though she wasn't.
Do.
Yeah. So do you have any other crazy neighbor stories? I mean, I'm sure.
That neighbor in particular was insane. I remember.
Well, you said in one of your videos they would wait, when you left the building or something, crack the door and wait till you left and then just stare at you as you're leaving.
Yeah,
That's
was that.
So weird.
There was, oh my God. So I had my friend Natalie staying with me at one point, and I left the door open, unlocked, because she was there, and I didn't really think anything of it. I guess I just was being careless. And I go downstairs to check my mail, and I go to get on the elevator to go back up, and my dog is in the elevator. And I'm like, how did my dog get in the elevator? What is happening? And it was the neighbor. He saw me leave. He saw that I didn't open the door. He opened it. He let my dog out and put her in the elevator, hoping that I was gone.
She would escape somehow?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
my
I'm really glad I found her.
gosh.
But stuff like that. Oh, he was just awful. Crazy neighbors happen. Until recently, this neighbor's actually being really nice. But we have this neighbor across the street from me who we have a driveway that goes down a hill. into another driveway right here. So here's my house. Here's the other person's house. So to get out of the driveway, you kind of need to go at least a little bit into their driveway to turn and go.
Yeah. Okay.
So she would purposely park her car so that we couldn't get out of the driveway. And then she would have me ticketed. Like, I'd be out of town doing something. Like, I'll go to New York 2 weeks at a time. And I'd come back and I'd have a ticket on my car.
For being parked on the street for too long or something?
Yeah. Mind you, it's like a private road.
Yeah.
Like,
and she knows it's your car.
Yeah. So she'd do that. What else? Neighbors are crazy. They're crazy.
Right?
Always. Oh, when I was a kid, there was this woman who would, like, I guess, I don't know if she was homeless or if she was a neighbor or what it was, but I'd be, like, out front playing on my lawn, and she'd, like, come up to me, make faces at me and yell at me and be like, I'm gonna sue you, and I'd be like, I'm 8.
I'm a kid.
So they're crazy people.
Yeah.
The dog guy, though.
That was so funny. Seriously, guys, go dig into Hallie's YouTube and listen to her crazy dog story. It's pretty
My hair
funny.
isn't quite as pushed down as is on this here, so you'll... Anyway.
See the long locks.
See the long locks.
So here at AfterBuzz, we obviously are kind of obsessed with TV. So do you have any TV shows that you're currently watching?
Okay, so I just finished Garfunkel and Oates on Netflix.
Oh.
And they're my favorite. I've liked them since my sophomore year of college. And I normally don't nerd out when I see other actors or musicians, but I ran into them at an improv show, and I was just like, oh my God, you're Garfunkel and Oates. Like, they're my favorite. So I binge watched their new show on Netflix.
Okay.
And it's amazing because they're amazing and I love them. And
I'll have to check it out.
check it out. It's so cute. They're a girl comedy band. They're like the female version of, what is the name of that? Not the Pilots.
Oh, the Australian guys.
Yeah.
What are they called?
They're
Flight of the Conchords?
Flight of the
Yes.
Conchords.
Yes,
Knew
Flight of the
something with flying or a
Conchords.
pilot. Yeah.
Thanks in there.
They're amazing. Watch it.
Okay, cool. Nice. So you are a very talented lady. Do you have any hidden talents that people don't know about? Or like few people?
So my grandmother was a painter, and she used to paint like china. I think it's such like an old lady thing to do, is like get like oil paints and paint china with like your ladies on Sundays. But I was, I guess, always the star of her show. So I'd come over on Sundays and I painted with her on Sundays growing up on her china.
Gosh.
So I got really, really good at china painting. So I make a mean flower. I make
a little cute teacup.
on a cute teacup. I mean, my things were elaborate. I used to win awards for my like china painting, like in middle school.
Wow, how about that?
So I don't really do it anymore. I don't really.
Hey,
talk
but
about
if you
painting,
go to
but
those like wine and painting nights, you know there's
be
those
like, "I painted
places,
this."
yeah, where you drink wine with your girlfriends and they do a little painting lesson. You can like knock the socks off of that.
I can be like, well, actually, if you like do it like that.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I'm really good at that. I don't know. I'm really good at doing things when people tell me I can't do them. Like, I, in high school, joined the surf team because some guys told me that I couldn't surf because I was a girl. Ooh. So that was fun. I stood up on the board the first time I went out.
Nice.
So cool. And
do you still surf at all?
Occasionally.
Right.
I'm not quite that great at it now.
Hey,
but,
it's okay.
But at the time, I got pretty good at it. So, you know.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I went through all my phases. I went through skateboarding phase. Not anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, but painting.
Cool. I like that. So, if you had to eat only one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Matzo ball soup.
Okay. It's a good one.
My
I feel like
mom's
you've been
homemade.
asked that question before. Do you have any guilty pleasures?
Yes. So I'm definitely listening to Katy Perry radio on my Pandora, like in the car all the time. And
It's okay. I listen. My like workout mix is like the nastiest hip hop in the world.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what it is
Awesome.
about hip hop, but that's like how I lift weights.
I love it. Oh, I know like every lyric to every Eminem song.
Oh,
So-
I'm like tempted to ask you to demonstrate, but I won't. Maybe another time.
I'll do it. If someone writes to me and requests it, I'll put it up on YouTube.
Taking a note of that.
What else do? I love French fries. I will eat French fries no matter what. I don't care. I love French fries. So I try to stay away from them, but if there are French fries in front of me, I will eat them. And I like True Blood.
Yeah.
I definitely watched every episode of that that I could possibly
such a good show.
watch. So
It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're just about at time. I mean, it's kind of flown by. I mean, time flies when you're
from,
having
like, knocking
fun,
over
right?
the cup and
Like hair
I know.
mishaps and all this
Everything.
stuff. It's been quite an event. So thank you so much again for coming and joining us, and thank you to everybody who tuned in today. And Hallie, why don't you remind everybody where they can find you online and what they can expect from you and what to keep an eye out for coming up?
You can find me at HallieJordan.com, Twitter and Instagram, Hallie Loves It. I will be putting more YouTube stuff out. I'm working on a project where I turn every song into a musical theater song on YouTube. So
Oh gosh,
send me
I can't wait.
requests. And that's why I said Eminem.
Ooh.
Yeah, and look out for my upcoming movies in the fall. I'll be announcing those this summer.
Awesome. So exciting. Everybody, I'm Lauren Salaun. Thank you again for tuning in. You can find me on Twitter and all over the internet at Lauren Salaun. Thanks for watching.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.